All right, we're live.
We're live.
Welcome, everyone. Brothers of the Serpent podcast live at Luxor Temple. And once again, we're using these. Are you on?
Is it in the right place?
I'm on. I
Yeah.
hope.
Hopefully the audio is working. I'll check it here in a
Russ is
minute.
going to check the audio.
But yeah, we're at the entrance to Luxor. So we're going to take you through and show you some of the interesting bits that we've seen here multiple times. There's a lot of interesting stuff right at the entrance, and of course, the obelisk, which blows your mind every time you see it. It's amazing. All right, let's see. It still says waiting. Let's see. All right, here we go. Keep them entertained while I listen to this audio.
I wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Just kidding. But yeah, let's check out this obelisk. There were two here originally. The bases are calcite or quartzite, or otherwise really hard sandstone bases. And
sounds good.
Another granite base sitting on top. And some of the features you can see in the granite is reminiscent of what we'll see at the quarry in Aswan. Some of the scoop marks.
Yeah, there is scoop marks right there in that repaired area.
Yeah.
Here at the base, you can see they've done some repairs. This is really interesting because this is rare. We see these keystone cuts all the time. Get the camera over here. And in this one, the actual keystones are still in place. This one's broken. This is all modern, but they've repaired. And then that one you can see is still completely in place. So they were using this black granite as keystones for the repairs. And it's like they just sort of roughly cut these hourglass shapes into the material and then sort of hammered this down in, trying to hold the block together. Some of this we saw at the Osirian yesterday, up in the roof area. So at the top of the known Osirian structure, there was
some crystal hippies crystal on this.
Didn't mean to steal your energy. Don't steal the karma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another interesting feature, though, if you look up this corner, you can see this thing it's got a waviness to it. You know, it's not this perfectly precise straight line. And yet, I mean, it's still amazing. There's actually a curve to it, like a convex curve as it tapers down.
This way. Watch your steps.
Still quite an amazing feat.
Yeah.
To cut that and then
they
flatten it and then move it.
They said this was, what did Yusuf say, 260, 270 tons?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Let's go this way.
Yeah,
we got a big tour. It's
going
to make a lot of noise. So they're mostly reconstructed.
This face used to be on the ground of this statue, but it's mostly reconstructed. So they're still doing work here, like standing the statues up, repairing them.
Yeah, so the darker gray that you see is all the reconstruction, and then the sort of lighter speckled, I don't know if you can see it in the sunlight, but that lighter speckled part is the actual granite. Anyways, let's move around. We're going to show you a couple of different levels of quality in the statues. Also, there's a clear difference in either the workmanship or, you know, if one was using better tools than the other.
Should we go over and look at this piece that's on the ground first before we go in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good example up close. So they're still in the process of repairing these statues, and you can see back there all the stacks of materials they've got cataloged and organized. It's a huge jigsaw puzzle to put back together. Lots of reconstruction on the sandstone structure as well by the archaeologists.
Yeah, imagine a jigsaw puzzle that has been rebuilt and reused over thousands of years by multiple different people.
Yeah,
and some of them
stolen
are making
pieces.
new pieces, and some of them are reusing old pieces.
So this is an example of one of the finer statues, and yet it's been utterly destroyed. But there are features that we'll see on some of the others that represent this fine work. I mean, this is incredible polish, and the roundness, the depth of the cut around the knuckles of the hand here. This is the fist. These are the knuckles. It's like this. Just a beautiful polish to it.
This is the top of the hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that. This is, yeah, it's really amazing.
Some of the other ones that are a lower quality will be more like kind of a square cut, and then they just kind of, you can see where they're just sort of scratching grooves in where the fingers are supposed to be. But I mean, look at this. The depth at which they cut that and polish it, and its roundness and smoothness is amazing. And this is the call to prayer happening right now. You might not be able to hear it with these mics.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. We're here with Yusuf.
Yeah. No problem. Thanks.
Thank you.
Shukran.
So there was another obelisk here. It was taken to Paris. This was the smaller one. They cut the bottom of it off and took it to Paris.
You can look down there real quick and see the avenue of sphinxes. They've been excavating this avenue and putting together the roughly 3,000 sphinxes that line the avenue, and it goes all the way to Karnak Temple, which we're going to later. I think it's how many? You remember how far it is?
Like a kilometer or something?
Yeah, something
maybe
like that.
more. Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't know.
But anyway, there was a procession.
I keep wanting to walk it.
Yeah,
they won't let us do it.
There was a processional thing that they would do where they'd get the boat and they do this whole ritual where they're carrying the boat and this whole procession and the altar and all the stuff from one temple to the other. And I don't know, I just find that as like a carrying the boat.
They're telling the story.
Yeah, I feel like
it's the same story as in Edfu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like a memory of, and like if the temples represented two civilizations, or one civilization that left their homeland and established another somewhere else, the other temple.
Yeah. So the boat is the lives and the info
and the ark,
and
essentially the ark that carries
Bring
them
it.
from one land to another.
Yeah.
That's just cool. My interpretation, not the official story.
It's definitely not the official story. But maybe you guys can learn to recognize Ramesses II. His cartouche is everywhere in this temple. So whenever you see these two big circles in the cartouche, whether it's vertical or horizontal like this one is, it's Ramesses II. Also, Merem Ptah is here. I think, is that him at the bottom here? Don't quote me on that.
Two guys
yeah.
sitting down facing each other. I don't
seated
remember.
figures. But up above, you see the two circles in the cartouche? Ramesses II.
Yeah.
And on the other side, again, just in case you didn't see the other one, Ramesses II. Just in case.
So the backs of these statues are really interesting as well. We'll get to that in a second. Here's more keystone cuts. What timeline are we talking here? Is this Roman times they were trying to put this thing back together? This is a repair.
I would say even New Kingdom, yeah.
New Kingdom?
Yeah.
This is a repair.
Yeah.
So there would have been chunks of granite in there holding that together.
There's another one here.
Another one up there. It's really cool way to fix it.
And then if you see
Stitches.
on the back here, scoop marks from the quarrying itself.
Yeah, so you'll see that square impression, squarish right here. We see those all over the unfinished obelisk and all around the quarry. So these were definitely using the same methods to rough out the statue. And you can see them on this one as well.
Yeah, there's a line of scoops down the back of this statue.
Right there. And this sort of waviness of the back is just like, I don't know, it's that almost that organic feel of the outsides of the boxes in the Serapeum.
Yep.
It's a similar,
Yeah.
like they didn't really care that
Right.
it was wavy. And it's kind of cool looking, actually. Not a precise flat surface.
Right.
And yet the work of the actual sculpture of the statue itself is, in some cases, have incredible levels of precise work.
And just to be clear, this is modern repair, so this is actual geopolymer. This is the remnants of the ancient statue. So you'll see that all over this temple where they've been repairing it just to stand it back up. They've added this material here to show the square base. All of this on the leg. So there's only fragments of the foot remaining, and they've filled it out with this mortar.
Is this
So we'd show the glyphs on the other side here real quick. And the foot.
Don't break it.
Yeah, this is really amazing. And again, you can see here at the base, so we have these roughly sort of hammered scenes and glyphs on the bottom, hieroglyphs. And you can see it's Ramesses II, right? And he's basically telling a story on both sides. You see this at the base. He's telling a story of how he's awesome and he conquered these people. You see how they're all got their hands tied behind their back. So he won the war. He's got a bunch of prisoners. New Kingdom was were conquerors for sure. But this border on the side is just kind of shows you how people from different periods were writing on these statues. So who knows? I mean, is this the same guy who did this? It doesn't seem like it. It could be. Maybe this is just trace work that they were going to finish out and they never got to it, which is possible. But it's just really shoddy. Lines are wavy. Looks more like what we see on the boxes in the Serapeum. Sandals?
Nice chanclas. All right.
Yeah, let's go in.
So the main part of the temple is sandstone construction.
Notice all the later period writing on here is Greek.
They obviously built it.
Yeah, so this proves that they built this pylon, right? So their names are carved in.
The columns here are, again, you can see they use the column drum. It's like a disc-shaped stone. They stack up the discs and then they carve them down into the shape of the column, like this sort of traditional phallic or maybe plant shape. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like lotuses and papyrus reeds.
Just to our left, up above, is a mosque, and this was the entrance of the mosque back when it was built, and that's how deep it was buried. This whole place
is
is
sand level.
And the mosque is actually built on top of the church, which is on top of the temple.
This is really interesting because we have single piece granite columns. Very high workmanship here. They're not as large as the sandstone columns, but the sandstone columns are actually just made up of discs or blocks or half discs and then carved down like Kyle was saying. But these are single piece constructions made with granite. And right here at the end, when there's two of them right next to each other, it's a great, shows you the difference.
It looks like they don't, like this doesn't look like part of a plan, an initial plan.
Yeah,
if you were going to plan
I
an
agree.
entire building, would this be, drawn into the plans this way? These two columns standing here, so close together. I don't know. It looks like one was built after the other.
Yeah, I mean, look, somebody's even cut the base of this. Like they've gotten rid of some, so they can get something through this doorway. I don't know what this is, but it's like they chopped it off from there all the way down. Strange.
And even the hieroglyphs that are on the columns, on the pillars themselves, they're
they
clearly
not the same quality,
the same skill level as the columns themselves. Ramesses II name written in there real deep at the top. And this doorway, this megalithic lintel stone here behind the columns, all granite. It looks like this whole structure may have been granite at some point.
Yeah.
And then sort of repaired with the sandstone.
Right. Yeah, so this may be part of something much older than the rest of this. And some of these statues that we're going to look at here might have been part of the original or much older constructions as well. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13.
And then there's 2 on the outside.
Yeah, 13 statues here.
Here's a altar stone made of granite, and you can see the attempt to quarry this. Oh boy. Yeah, they were attempting to split this. I mean, I guess they achieved it, but make square blocks out of it for some other construction purpose. And I think probably the archaeologists put them back together. Not sure how long that's going to go on, but
right. Yeah.
So here you can see this level of quality we were looking at in the hands outside, the piece of the hand. And of course, the one outside was much bigger than this.
The head jet on this one used to be on the ground. It used to sit right here. It was like this tall. Just amazing amazing piece of artwork.
And you can see the archaeological reconstruction of the body there. They've even painted it to look similar to the rose granite. But the way the legs are cut around deep in, leaving that high relief, and the musculature in the legs, the polish, the level of polish you can see on the knees and the hedget. It's the original feature was incredibly fine work.
Yeah, the depth of the cut back there, and then it also has the, what Ben was calling it, the cricket bat, whatever this is.
Yeah, that's the
hangs
back of the
yeah,
the back of the robe or whatever it is that hangs down. Here's another high quality, deeply cut. You see the cuts in the arm going around. I mean, they almost get where the angle is going straight back.
yeah.
That's how deeply the arms are cut in. You can see the polish, and if you get close here and look up the clothing, you can see the straightness and the depth and the quality of the lines in the skirt, or the whatever you call that thing, robe. The definition on his belt, the knife.
And then there's a cartouche cut into the belt.
Roughly
the knife,
done.
over the belt, yeah.
And if you look down at the fist there, you can see how deeply cut the fingers and the knuckles, the roundness of them. And all of that is to compare to a statue like this. And now you look at the depth of the cut around the arms. It's just not even close to getting, you know, the angle going straight back in around the arm. It's sort of a kind of a groove. The proportions of the body are not the same. Watch out, camera guy, there's a light on the ground. The legs aren't cut in deeply, and they're out of proportion. They're a little too big for the body size compared to the other statues. The musculature is not as well done. We'll see later that the toes are the same. They're not deeply cut. The fist is square with just some grooves cut in around the fingers. And the polish is not nearly to the level of the others.
Yeah.
That's
a good question. Is the belly button on this one tube drilled? Is the question he's asking.
Well, you probably wouldn't if it's polished.
Yeah.
Well, that's the question, I guess. Is it polished?
You want to climb up there? You climb up there? You can even see with this one, back to the
This black granite one?
yeah, like his right arm looks, the elbow looks hyperextended. Like it's actually going, looks like it's going back. It's too straight. You know, the other guys, they have this sort of relaxed, the arm is slightly bent. This one is, doesn't quite get that effect.
Yeah, let's go across.
And then the cartouches in the shoulders.
Yeah.
What's that?
We're going to grab a shit head out from Sphinx Avenue.
Okay.
Everybody's here.
Okay. Well, we'll just run through this real quick and then we'll stop.
No, you do it. Yeah, do whatever. But I think while we're looking for Chris, I guess.
Oh, of course. He was climbing
He's
around
probably still.
Yeah.
Where does he go?
He's still over here inspecting something, I bet. Don't want to disconnect the Bluetooth. My
Right.
bad.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to stick with you.
That was my fault. Yeah. Let's go around back here.
Okay. So we'll head around behind these statues first.
Yeah. Just real quick, you can see the once again what we were pointing out before. The fist here the depth of the leg cuts versus this one. Clear difference. The depth of the toes, same deal. And it's very clear around the backside also, the differences in quality. The straightness of the fabric, the lines in the fabric. And again, at the top there, there's the archaeologist reconstruction on the neck that has the sort of dimpled.
It's
painting.
hilarious. It's hilarious because you see this same thing with the reconstructions of the vases. Like, so in the museums, there will be these beautiful granite vases, like hot, you know, what looks like precision polished, and then next to it is a clay pottery vessel with the same paint pattern.
Yeah.
So the ancients were also trying to copy the look of the granite, and the modern archaeologists are doing the same thing with their reconstruction and mortar on these ancient statues.
All right, let's go around back.
Yeah.
I love this view here. Like, you can see I mean, you move the camera around here, you can see this amazing polish. You really see the features well, the way the light is back here. Another interesting aspect that we'll look at in a second is the carving of the hieroglyphs in the back. There's plenty of examples just on this piece of how there were some previous carvings that were erased, ground away, and then new hieroglyphs were carved in deeper. And you can clearly see this polish versus this surface. This is just not even close.
Yeah, so they've probably shaved a bunch of material off here too for Ramses.
Yeah.
To put his stuff on here.
But
and
here
it gets rid of the polish, and they couldn't polish it again because they didn't have the ability.
Here's a piece of something
Yep.
that was there before. It's a much finer polish, not quite to the level of this on the side, but much better than this or the insides of these hieroglyphs. There's another example here. It was a circle. It's the remnants of it, and its polished surface are left, and then of course this was carved in its place.
Yeah, there's another one up there, just above the bird.
Yeah, you can see a flat mark above the duck in front of its beak.
Yep, and then there's a circle way up high in the middle.
Yeah. There's more on this cartouche here. I mean, there's just a bunch all over this.
Yeah.
So clearly, these were not made original. They are added later.
It's graffiti.
Yeah. But here, if you look between these two statues, you've got a very clear representation of the difference in quality between one and the other.
Yeah.
The one we're looking at is incredible high quality. And then this next one, although beautiful, it just doesn't have the same level of quality in the cuts, how deep the arms,
There's
the
no
cut, the
polish
armpits,
on the
the polish on the sides, the straightness of the sides.
The entire base is actually offset from the direction that the statue is facing, which is easier to see out front, but you can kind of see it here. The statue is facing this way, and the base is angled. If you look down there, you can see it.
And I mean, this, you know, this.
Still amazing work.
Yeah.
But it looks like an attempt to copy something much finer that they had inherited or found. And we see this all throughout Egypt. All right, we wrap it up. One more thing.
Yeah, I mean, real quick.
Yeah.
The lines in the clothing here, you can see they're like trying to carve it in at least where it terminates at the bottom is sort of a line cut in, whereas the others actually stand out. It's not a groove cut in the bottom, but also, I mean, you can just tell in the straightness of those lines, they're not as equidistant as the others, not nearly as straight. There's just so many features like that when you look at it in detail that you can tell it's a really good attempt. I couldn't do it. These guys, they were really good at what they did.
Yeah, they were.
Not as good
They were very
as
good
those guys.
at pretending to be these guys.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It's time for us to go.
Hope you enjoyed that. Luxor Temple, Brothers of the Serpent.
Snacks!
Snacks!